What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Nate. Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to talk about something that a lot of guys need to hear. On this channel, we talk about many things: how to grow physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. And today's video, guys, I do want to talk specifically to the men who are looking for a good woman, and more importantly, are trying to be the best man that they can be. The title of today's video, guys, is going to be The Rise of the Alpha Simp. Now, I know this might seem a little silly to some of y'all. I really don't like to use these type of terms, but a lot of people relate to those terms and a lot of people understand what they mean. And so I think that they're very useful when you're trying to talk about a subject. So if you guys have anything you want to add to this, always let me know in the comments below. I love to engage in discussion with you guys. Right? If it's just a few words, there might not be much to reply to, but if you guys have something that you really want to talk about or even argue about, again, I love to do that with you. So, guys, the rise of the alpha simp. What does this mean for men? What does this mean for women? What's going on, right? Something I talked about in one of my recent videos. I believe the rise of this alpha simp is something that a lot of guys need to watch out for, especially that they don't turn into this man, all right? Because I have been here, all right? Many men I know have been here. Many masculine men I know have fallen, right? Just like Samson and Delilah, many men have fallen for a woman. And what do I mean by fall, guys? You see, there's a lot of masculine men out there who live their life, do what they do, build their kingdom, build their business. They're a man's man, right? But then they meet that woman. They meet that woman that they start to let things slide for, right? Their values, their morals, their ethics take a back seat to this woman's desires, right? Everything becomes about the woman. Everything becomes about her and her feelings. Guys, let me say something. When you are pursuing a woman, when you are pursuing a godly marriage to get into, when you're pursuing these things, that is a good thing. You should seek to find common ground. You should seek to walk as one, to be equally yoked, right? Equally yoked means basically there was a term back in the day. You'd have two oxen walking side by side. If one was, just not getting the picture right, or it was the wrong size, or it was just out of sync, well, it would basically burden the other oxen more than if that oxen just went solo. So equally yoked means walking in step, sharing the load equally, right? And two is better than one. So you can accomplish a lot more if you find the right person. You can live a more fulfilling life. Most people. Some people, God has called to a life of celibacy or not to get married. And that's perfectly fine too, because you can invest much more time into the kingdom. But most people, guys, I truly believe most people desire to have a marriage. They desire to have somebody that they can be with, that they can be one with. All right? And so what is this alpha simp? What does this mean, right? Like I was saying, a lot of these guys that you're seeing, or maybe you know of stories in your life, right? A lot of guys, they talk a big game. They do everything on paper. Everything looks great, but then a woman comes along and they let everything slide for her. Now, one of the reasons I think this is happening is because a lot of men feel the societal pressure to give in to these times, to give in to women, right? What I mean by that is, especially in the West or Western society, and I think they're kind of coming around, right? But I think in Western society, there's a lot of men who feel like, in a sense, they have to submit to their woman, right? Now, again, I'm not saying that it's wrong to walk in step with your wife or your woman. What I'm saying is there is roles that God put out for the husband and wife, right? There's this egalitarian, which means like basically equal. There's this mindset going around that men and women are equal, totally equal, right? They both have the exact same roles. They're not really supposed to do anything different. Problem with that is men and women do have different strengths and weaknesses. There are many things women can do much better than men, right? But see, in the society today, we're saying that those things aren't important, or we're saying that a man can do them just as well, or we're saying that, basically our value system is screwed up. And so you have a lot of guys who are doing everything right up until they meet a woman, and then they feel like they have to give in to what she wants. And guys, I'm not saying every once in a while, you know what, you want to bring her out somewhere that she wants to go to, cool, right? But I'm saying don't let values erode. You see, women are going to test you. It's just natural. Women are going to test the men that they're with. They want to see what they're made of, because it's an instinctual thing. It's something that God gave women so that they can pick the right man. Women are going to test you. Women are going to make sure that you are who you say you are, because they don't want a man who's going to be a pushover. They don't want a man that anybody in this world can just push around, right? They don't want a man that's just going to let anybody walk on them, because then that means that her future with her children and her family could be threatened, right? Very instinctual things. So as men, we need to make sure that we know what we want and we're willing to put up with. And this is why I talk about in my videos about women how you need to be very careful when it comes to sexual interactions with women, because most guys, I really, really, really suggest not having sex before marriage, okay? The reason is, guys, the biggest reason is, just to put it point blank, is because men are so focused on sex. Most men are so focused on sex that once they start having it, everything else slides. And so you better make sure that the woman that you're with is your wife, because as a man, again, that woman is going to help you out in life. She's going to build you up. She's going to, verbally build you up, not just charm, right? But she's going to verbally build you up. She's going to make sure that you're emotionally good to go. She's going to make sure that your needs are taken care of, just like you should be taking care of hers, right? But a lot of women these days, guys, I'm going to be straight up with you. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but oh well. A lot of women these days, they have a princess mentality, okay? They think that the world should revolve around them. We live in a very narcissistic culture these days, guys. Don't get me wrong. This goes for men and women, but I'm just speaking about interactions with women. All right? Very easy, all right? The way the world is right now, women, in a sense, hold a lot of power, a lot of social power, all right? Social media is geared towards women. It's just a fact. A lot of the rules, a lot of things set up right now are in favor of women, okay? This is just a fact. It is what it is. So you need to make sure the woman that you're with sexually is your wife, because you need to make sure that she's 100% fully invested in you and that you're 100% fully invested in her, because as a man, when you are with a woman, you have a tendency to go all in. You have a tendency to be like, hey, this is the woman I want to protect and provide for, right? This is the woman that I want to live my life with. I know that there's this weird thing going around these days, guys, where you're supposed to be a player, you're supposed to shut off your feelings, and only real men just go through a bunch of women. Guys, there couldn't be anything further from the truth. Again, you're just contributing to the problem that you're hating, right? A lot of men are just, they might not even realize it, but they're playing into the game. They're playing into the same thing, right? If you go around sleeping with a bunch of women, you can't turn around and say, well, all these women are just running through a bunch of different guys. Well, you were one of them, right? Your buddy was another one of them. All these other men who think the same thing, right? It's the same thing. So don't abuse your power, right? With great power comes great responsibility. So don't go around going wild with a bunch of women. And obviously, guys, there's things to keep in mind too. Like, okay, if a woman is very easy sexually, like if you really didn't have to do anything, well, there's a good chance that she's probably not emotionally all there. Okay, there's a chance that, okay, you guys start thinking about just practical stuff, guys, like diseases. Like, if this woman's just trying to get knocked up so that she can lock down a dude so that she can get child support, right? Like, women do this stuff. Women think this way. A lot of women think this way, right? Just like there's a lot of men out there who think a certain way. They're like, well, I just want to get to this point where I can look a certain way, so I can act a certain way, so I can be charming enough, attractive enough, rich enough to just lie and lead a bunch of women on just so I can sleep with them, right? Guys, there are men out there, I don't think you realize this, there are men out there who will say and do anything to sleep with a woman. I don't even mean simp stuff, guys. I mean straight up, they will do anything to sleep with a woman. And so you got to be careful these days, guys. But going back to the alpha simp stuff, right? When you're an alpha simp, you might think you're the man, right? But that woman is going to wear away at your life. That woman is going to change you. She is going to be the one that will be your downfall. Because we all know, maybe it's happened to us, maybe it's happened to a friend, maybe we see it out and about, right? We see it online, right? We know of a story somewhere where this guy met this girl and nobody liked this girl, but this guy was totally infatuated. went against everybody's wisdom, went against everybody, right? Got with this woman, and eventually she ruined his life, right? But this was a man that a lot of people looked up to. This was a maybe successful man, but he was never the same after. And I want to say this as well, guys. If you've been in that situation, don't lose hope, because God is your only hope, right? Talks about this, I believe, in Proverbs and also Ecclesiastes. There are women out there, and guys, if you've messed up like this, right, it is what it is. But there are women out there who will leave you feeling like you are in the pits of hell, right? Just completely tore up. There's women out there whose hearts are snares, chains, and nets, and they will wreak havoc on the manliest of men, even Samson, right? The most physically powerful man that ever walked the earth, will destroy you, right? But God is the escape from that woman. You see, the man who fears the Lord will escape that. He will escape that woman. So you don't have to live in a life of just hopelessness. But be careful, guys. Be careful, because you could be on top of the world one day and the next your life could fall because of a woman, because of accusations, because of feelings, right? Because of things that were perceived a certain way, right? Or again, as a man, I'm going to be straight up with you guys. Most men can't be 100% truthful, right? Eventually, men are going to start slipping. They're going to start saying what the girl wants to hear. They're going to start doing what they want to do. And the girl's going to feel, she's going to like it, right? She's going to like it, but it's not you. It's not you being genuine. And then all of a sudden, you get to a point where you just can't do it anymore. You switch up. She might be very vindictive. She might be very resentful. All right, so that's why it's very important to be upfront with women, right? But don't be the alpha simp who just does what he can to get to a point where he can get women, and then once he gets a girl, he just loses his mind. And I'm talking from experience here, guys, okay? This is why I'm talking about this. I'm talking about this because I don't want you guys to mess up like I messed up. I don't want you guys to do this, right? A lot of guys call this like one-itis, right? You get so obsessed with one girl, you drop your friends, you drop your family, you drop your life, you drop your hobbies, right? That's not a woman you want to be with, because that woman essentially is an idol, right? Once you start sacrificing everything in your life for this woman, again, that she becomes an idol. Unless, again, she's your wife, you're called to sacrifice for her. But guys, you got to be picky, right? Don't be the guy. Don't be the alpha, right? A lot of guys are trying to be the alpha, right? And I think it's good. A lot of men should have that rough and tough, go get them, do what you got to do, right? Without, of course, screwing anybody over. Do what you got to do, make it happen, work hard, put your nose to the grindstone. That's a good mentality to have, right? We used to live in a time, I'm sure there's people who could chime in on this, but we used to live in a time, it's been really decades, but where most men were men. And the men who were soft were in the minority. Now it's different, guys. Most men these days are soft. And I'm speaking from experience, and there's still things that I'm trying to cut out of my life that I know are bad, right? There's still things that I'm learning. I'm like, oh, I should probably do this. This is probably a little bit more masculine, right? This is probably a little bit more of what a man should be. But we live in a time where guys are soft, guys, and the minute a man becomes a man, right, becomes an alpha, whatever you want to call it, I'm telling you guys, I've seen so many men, including myself, once they get this girl, they get this certain type of girl, they just, boom. All that masculinity goes out the window. In Proverbs 31, it talks about King Lemuel's mother tells him, do not give your strength to women. Do not give your ways to that which destroy kings, right? That basically means don't be giving your vitality. Don't be giving all of your energy. Don't be investing all of this potential that you were made for into a woman, right? And I know we have some figures out there walking around. They're really big on social media. They're ladies' men. I'm not going to name names because you guys know they're probably coming to mind right now. But there's a lot of guys out there. You see these ultra successful men. You see how many women they have. But guys, they even tell you, or if they're being honest, they even tell you it's really pointless, right? They all want to find that one woman that they can settle down with. They say it gets boring, right? It causes more problems. Or you see them get so women crazed that they just lose that spark in life. They lose that potential. And so you got to be careful out there, guys. The rise of the alpha simp is big because I think we're crossing a threshold right now where a lot of men are coming around, but they're letting women weaken them. So know who you're getting involved with. Know who the women are, right? Don't be so desperate that you just, as soon as you get a match on a dating app, you're trying to jump in bed, right? So many people are trying to make a physical connection because they think that that's going to supersede everything. We glorified it in movies and media. Sex is going to do everything, guys. It doesn't. It's one piece of the puzzle. It's truly only one piece of the puzzle, and it's very powerful. There's a lot that goes on. And so if you're just out there doing whatever with whoever, then you're going to have a lot of heartache. It's going to catch up to you eventually. You're going to cause heartache as well. And so be careful you don't turn into a mindless beast either. But a lot of guys right now are struggling with this idea. They're struggling with this notion of being this alpha simp. They're struggling. They think that they're a man. They think that they're going to just have it all. But then, guys, women will weaken you. I'm not saying all women are evil. You stay away from all women. No, I'm not saying that at all. Just know that once you start becoming a man, you are going to have more women just come up to you, guys. I'm telling you, you will have more women come up to you. That confidence radiates, okay? It's something about it. I will say it time and time again. Confidence is the biggest thing, right? Everything else is just kind of like a bonus. But if you think that you look good, right? If you think that you are the man, if you are content with yourself, confident in yourself and your abilities, guys, you will start to attract women. And the first time guys attract a woman, or the first time a woman throws herself at you and you fall for it, and then you get invested, Guys, I'm going to end the video with this. The alpha simp is something that's not new. The Bible talks about this. The Bible talks about how, as men, strong men, right? Valiant men, men of God. David, there's other accounts in the Bible as well. Of course, Samson. There's even stories later on where it talks about there are men, right? This is crazy because we think it's, just women. There's this idea in like society, especially now with all this, red pill garbage. But sometimes men fall in love. I know it's crazy, right? But it's true. There are accounts of men who fall in love with women, and the woman does not love him, or doesn't love him like that. There was a story in the Bible about a man who was with a woman who was his wife, and his wife would basically every night, she would go out into the town and she would just become like a prostitute, and this man would go and find his woman every night and bring her home. Guys, you talk about love, man, that's something else, right? Like, I don't even know what you call that, okay? But know that those stories, those examples aren't put there for just any reason. Know that there are some women that you might get involved with. You might have a very extremely hard time letting them go. Even if it doesn't work out with them, it might take you years. You might never fully recover. There are men who got divorced years and years ago, moved on, new family, better wife, right? And they still cannot get over it because there's something that happens when a man truly loves a woman, who truly loves her. When he gets involved physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, guys, it happens. So be careful before you start going wild, because you could end up being the alpha simp, okay? I don't want that for you guys, because then you'll just turn into a shell of a man. So make sure that you stay on the straight and narrow path. Make sure that you're asking for God's wisdom. Make sure that you are keeping yourself from obviously loose, obviously promiscuous women, right? I know it's tempting. I know that might be what you want in the moment, but guys, I'm telling you, be careful. So guys, if you have any experiences, if you want to share anything with me, if you have any questions, arguments, disagreements, let me know in the comments below. But I'll see y'all at the next one.